Okay.
So, yeah, great. And then we'll go ahead and go to the agenda. And then we will be discussing some news, documentation, release notes, a Slack update, and then also what we have planned for July. So I did want to mention, as Joanne had mentioned earlier, is that there will now be kind of a little bit different webinars. There will be one that's hosted by Helpful Village, this one. It will be the third Wednesday of the month, like right now, and then this will be focusing on improvements, release notes, questions, demos, things like that. However, there will also be the Village to Village hosted webinar on the fourth Wednesday of the month, and that will be a peer-to-peer based webinar. It does require an active Village to Village network, and then you do need to register for the event. Joanne and I will be managing and trying to help navigate the peer-to-peer webinar. It will be, this next week will be the first time we've done it in this style. I did put a message out on Slack, but if you are interested in joining, please send me some questions or ideas, things you'd like to discuss or learn more about during that presentation, and that way as a group we can chat about it and talk about different practices and ideas and things like that. So feel free to either chat me on Slack or email me, and then we will have some topics to chat about next week. Now, moving on, we have some exciting news. We're excited to present three new villages that are going to be operating with Helpful Village. We have Neighbors of Northern Columbia County in New York. They are an in-development village. We have Golden Gate Village in San Francisco, California, and they are an established village. They're neighbors with one of our other villages next San Francisco. And then we have St. James Nest, and they are in North Carolina, and they're also an in-development village. So we're very excited to have them along. Also, the conference. Every month we talk about it. It's coming up here shortly in September. Summer's going to fly by. Chicago's awesome. The conference is awesome. We're super excited. If you have the chance or someone from your village is coming, please stop by and say hi. We will have a booth. We will have a presentation, and it's always super fun to see some of our villages and meet everyone face to face. You know, it's a nice change of pace after video conferences. So now we're going to jump right ahead into training videos. Every month we're adding more training documents and more training videos. I have links on here. I have links on the Slack. Also, if you need a link, feel free to email me. Now, some of the new training documents and videos we have added this month, we're going to go over how to create a username. We will do a live demo of that later on this afternoon. But I did create a video and a document for that. I did a document of how to use email templates, and there's also now a Membo intro training video, which last month we had announced a volunteer training email video that I think has worked really well for the number of villages that have started using it. It's just a short video showing, for the volunteers, a short video showing how to view service requests, how to be matched with service requests to emails, and now for members it's going to be very similar. It's how to ask for a service request, how to register for an event, things along those lines. And those can be all found in the Helpful Village Google Drive. Now, this is a reminder, we started this a couple months ago. This is for villages operating on Helpful Village as a way to pay your invoice. We offer it online. We are using it from a service called Bill.com. I did want to mention that it is possible if you haven't seen an invoice, it could be going into the spam folder because Bill.com is actually the one sending them rather than myself. So if you haven't seen an invoice in a while or I sent you a message, just check your spam folder or let me know if you haven't seen anything or have any questions. All right, we're going to get right into it now with some release notes. So these items will be released Sunday night, June 23rd, and they will be available starting Monday morning, June 24th. So for June release, we have item 506. We were able to show who originally created a membership for a person and when it was last updated with stamps. This comes from Beta Sounds as an improvement request. We started doing this with service requests to show who made it, either a member or the office, and that way you can keep track and also navigate when something was changed or added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we heard also sometimes from the villages that asked for this that it allowed them to see if they had to go back and train some of the volunteers that were not doing something in the way that was expected. So this is a way for the village to know what person should be contacted for training purposes.
Exactly. We also have a very exciting update. So the membership status was something that we traditionally never changed on our end. It was never automatic. And so it would say active, and then it would let someone know that their expiration date had come. Well, now we've changed it a little bit where the membership status will automatically transition to expired after the expiration date has passed. The system will then create a prospect task under the prospective renewal mailing list, and it will email the admin to let them know. So this is a great way for someone who maybe never renewed when they got the automatic renewal emails, and now as an admin you want to send an email to this group of people saying, hey, we'd really love to have you back as members, so forth. And so that will also automate some more of these renewal tasks. We have Release 417. It's the ability to create a service evaluation on demand. So this is super great for if you entered a service request in the past, and you now want to create an evaluation for the member or the volunteer. So here, when you're viewing the actual service request, down here you could see these different things, and now we have create a service evaluation. Selecting this button will then trigger an evaluation to be made and the email to be sent out to the volunteer, which is kind of our stock setting. And if you have it set up that the member also receives an evaluation, they will also receive an email asking them to evaluate the service. We have improvement 550 from updated volunteer application email confirmation message. So these two are tied. We had automatic email confirmation for when someone filled out an online volunteer application, an online member application, or subscribed to the mailing list, and we updated them a little bit. So now for volunteers, it will be showing the services that they filled out or that they marked during their application. And then also for the email confirmation, it now says thank you for subscribing to our mailing list. And it says we have included your name in our distribution for future mailings. So that way it will clear it up. Before it said it was an application, which wasn't quite accurate. So we have 527. We now have an admin button at the top of the documents library. As Colin with Marin had mentioned, as you start adding more documents and more reports and more files, scrolling down to the bottom of the page can be a little bit cumbersome. So we have those admin features that then take you to those so that way you're not spending time. 480, we have that this used to say post message, and in our system we use message traditionally as an email. So now this has been changed to post a comment. So this is under an event where members can chat with each other, or volunteers can say what they're bringing, if they're excited, if they need a ride, who their guest is, so forth. We have 521 and 368. This will now create a drop-down reason for when you move a status for a membership to dropped. Before it was traditionally only an open text field, and now this will make it a little bit more systematic in the fact that you can choose financial, more services needed, move, not using, input, error, other. And then with other, we'll also give you the option to still have that free text field when there's more information needed.
Yeah, then if I can jump in, obviously one of the advantages of using a drop-down box is that it's easier to run reports on how many of the people that dropped did it for this reason, many others did for the other reason. Obviously, free text is much, people write things in different ways, so it's much more difficult to have a report on that structured data. So this is a good improvement to, have better reports.
Okay. So I know that last month we had announced a downloadable PDF version of preferred providers. That will now be included in this month's release. We see here the provider categories and then the individual providers with their website, their phone number, and then if they have a rating from other members. So this will be wonderful moving forward, and you can see here it will be under reporting spreadsheet section, and it will be under organizations, and we see here provider by category PDF. We also have 571. Events managers can update the weekly events email template. So this is an automatic task that we can set up for some. I know some villages already have it set up. It will send an automatic email on Sunday morning to the events mailing list on your system with the next 2 weeks of upcoming events. We have a template built in there that you can customize. Sausalito is one village that has been using it for quite a while, and they update every week, and they highlight certain events, and they put in links to their website, things like that, and then that system automatically sends it. So now if you have Events Manager, they're able to update that email template, and it doesn't require admin intervention. We also have an automatic email is sent to admin when a member renews online via credit card. So about, I think 2 months ago, we announced a new email template that allows members to renew online via credit card without having to log in. This helped with the friction of if certain members logged in, certain members didn't. And now it will trigger a message not only to the members confirming, thank you for your renewal, it'll also send it to the admin letting them know that this member paid for their membership. Awesome. This one's very exciting. We announced this for members, I think last month. So now we'll have also a volunteer notification light. So as we see here, it's on member, we see a little green dot, and then on volunteer, we see a little green dot. So this green notifies when you're just looking at someone's profile. They have an active volunteer profile. They are marked as screened. They're not on vacation, and they provide services. Yellow is stating that they have an active vacation period. And then red, down here, what we see is going to show that they're either unscreened or they have a future start date or they had a past end date, just saying that they're no longer considered an active volunteer. So that will be part of the deployment this Sunday. It's been a great feature, and we worked with East Rock Creek to create that. Now, every month we do a Slack update, and we highlight one of our users. Slack is a platform that we use to intercommunicate between villages. It's a great way to ask questions, report bugs, when I post a lot of announcements, videos, training docs, things like that. I know we do have some people that recently just joined Slack. I ask that you please, please, please update your profile when it says, I think job description or who you're with. Please include the village you're with. This makes it much easier for us to provide help when trying to answer any questions. Also, if you are reporting a bug or asking for help, the more detail you can give me in regards to either a member's name, a volunteer's name, or the date or the specific service request, the easier it is for both of us in troubleshooting what's going on. If you don't feel comfortable in writing the member's name openly, you can also private message me. That's easy as well. And then I know Manuel wanted to.
Yes. So we're moving on to the online demo that we're doing today. Maybe you want to take care of the chat in the meantime, Sid?
Mm-hmm.
Let's change seats. Okay, so we changed seats physically. And so, yeah, we have an online demo, and the online demo we're doing today is also coming from, some work we have been doing with Jim. So at the same time that we have the shout out, I also, wanted to thank Jim for the time he has spent with us, working on the username feature we're presenting today. So I'm going to move on to the demo. And the demo starts, here. Okay. Oops. So everybody there, I'll be doing the live demo now, and Sydney is managing the chat. So if I'm going too fast or if you have questions, please use the chat to tell Sydney and ask the questions there, and I can show it again. So let me explain where this feature is coming from. So sometimes we have had villages telling us that for some members they don't have an email address. Well, that's okay. We had a solution for that with the @noemail.com address. That was a way to tell the system that it was not a valid email and we were not sending emails to that address. We had other situations that happened in several villages where basically two people in the same household are using the same email address, right? And they wanted to receive notifications. For example, if there is partner number 1 that is volunteering for one activity and partner number 2 that is volunteering for a different activity, they both wanted to receive emails from the system, right? So it's what we call the shared email. Now, this shared email is something that took some time because there is some issues associated with it, but we have been working with Taos and Jim on finding a solution, and this is the solution I wanted to present today. So let me start the demo on creating a new person, right, that has this shared email. So I'll go under people management as we usually do, and down here we have an add new person. Now, one of the changes that you will see here is that now this email address is now optional. It was always mandatory. We were asking and training people to say, well, it was, Sydney has @noemail.com. If she did not have an email address, you don't need to do it anymore. So if this person does not have an email address, you just can leave it blank. In this example, I'm going to use a valid email. So here I can say that we have plus Mickey Mouse @helpful.com. And then, so this is Mickey, this is Mouse, and then this person, gave me permission for the newsletter and MailChimp communication, or maybe he did not, right? So we're creating the first person is Mickey Mouse, and I can save the person. This is exactly as we have always done it in the past. There's nothing new at this point, right? Let's give this person an address. This person lives in 987 Main Street, and then lives in New York City. And I have no clue about a zip code in New York City, so I'll do something like randomly 75000. This is New York. New York. And I save the address for this person. Okay, now Mickey Mouse is now a member. So I can create membership for this user. You see the green light because it's now an active member of a household membership. And here I can now add the associated member, which is Minnie Mouse. Yeah, I'm thinking I can do it from here, right? Or I can also connect it, if I add it here, it's going to create a new person and then, associate both members. The other way I can do it is that Minnie Mouse. Instead of associating from here, I can do it onto people management, add new person, then here say Minnie Mouse. And in this case, Minnie Mouse is sharing the email address. She does not have an email address of her own, okay? And now I'm going to save this person. And we have created the second person. It's something that is new. The first thing that is new on my demo today is what you see here. This person has an email, and this person does not have an individual email because we left it blank, right? Now I'm thinking about this because she is a member. She is in a household membership, and then he is connected with Mickey Mouse with an email address that is M plus Mickey Mouse helpful. Okay. Can you find me the address I entered for New York? Because I don't remember. Okay. Now, oops. Put the address for this person before editing. Oh, yeah, I need to enter the address here. So we had here New York City. State is New York. Seven five, and then the number is 987 Street East Main Street. Okay, so creating the address for the second person, save the address, and then on the member profile, we have the household for this person, and then now I can enter Mickey Mouse M plus Mickey Mouse at village.com. Now I can connect both memberships. And now you see we have Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse. We're a Minnie Mouse profile, right? But with an associated member that is Mickey Mouse. So both people have now, an active household membership, and they're associated with Mickey or Minnie Mouse. And we can, if you click on here, it goes to the Mickey Mouse profile. If you go to Minnie Mouse, it goes to Minnie Mouse profile. Now, what's interesting about Minnie Mouse, right, is that she would like to receive her email. So in order to do that, we go to General tab. This person did not have an individual email, right, but we still want to set up this shared email so that Minnie also receives email on the same email address. So in order to do that, we would uncheck this box, enter the email address that we want to use for Minnie Mouse, which is M plus Mickey Mouse at helpfulvillage.com, and then try save this. Now, when I'm going to try save it, it's not going to do it right away because this email address already exists in the system, right? For a good reason, because it's shared with Mickey. So when I try update it, we're going to have a message that says, sorry, there's another person in the database with that same email address, and they need to be unique. So what that means is that it means a good test for duplicates, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not creating the same person twice, and then when you enter the same email address, right, you don't want to have multiple times the same person in the database. In this case, we know that Mickey Mouse is already using the same email address, right? And Mickey and Minnie are sharing the email address. So because we know that they are sharing the email address, we can click this box here that says, this person shares email address with a spouse partner already in the village. Let's check this box. There is an alert message saying, I'm going to read the alert message because it's actually important. Sharing an email should be avoided due to a number of security issues. Sharing an email address and using a username would allow either person of a household to change the password for the other person, because we reset passwords by email, right? So if you're sharing your email address with a different person, you need to know that this other person can change the password and obviously access all the information of your account. This username feature is only available for people that in a household that have absolute trusted relationship due to the sensitive nature of information. So what this means is that we invite villages to have separate email addresses. If you have two people signing up in a household, I'd invite them to provide different email addresses because that's just more secure and more, a better privacy. If at your village, that there is no way, the household would get two different email addresses because that wouldn't work for them, then you can use this solution. So in this case, going again here, enter the shared email address that is M plus Mickey Mouse at helpfulvillage.com. And then here we can use the username. The username is something that would look like this. Minnie Mouse 1, 2. Yeah. This is a choice. The person can use username Minnie Mouse. It needs to be at least 6 characters long, but other than that, there's not that much condition, and obviously it's not an email address. Now I can go down, and that is done, and then update the system. okay, the user was successfully updated. Now, if we go look at the profile, now I would say that for Minnie Mouse, when you look at the profile of this person, it says, well, the username is Minnie Mouse. If they want to log into the system, they would log in using Minnie Mouse as a username, and the shared email address where they receive things. So now the next thing I can do is that I can go down on this user, and I can send password instructions to Minnie Mouse. So this is a little alert showing, are you sure you want to send password instructions? We send password instructions to Minnie Mouse that can now log in with this username and receive an email, allowing her to reset their password. The other thing that happens at the same time when we send password instructions is that we uncheck the unable to log in rights, because this person can now log in. Now, what's interesting is that these are two different accounts, right? We send password instructions to Minnie Mouse, and then now if you go to Mickey Mouse, he has the email as a general email address, but you need to go down here to this different account and send password instructions to this person also. We send password initialization instructions. Let me show you another thing that's interesting, is that in the Mickey Mouse example, if you go to activity and you want to send a message to this person, right? Choose a template. Yeah, for example, this one. We have a message that says, "Dear Mickey," with all your information, etc. If you do the same thing for Minnie, well, it will do pretty much the same thing, but saying "Dear Minnie" with her account information. Now, the email will go, in both cases, to the same shared email address. Now, all the emails that are sent from Helpful Village, right, will be different emails. For example, if they are both volunteers at one time, and the system is sending the daily volunteer email to each one of them, it would send different emails. One that would say "Dear Mickey," the other one that would say "Dear Minnie," and they will all go to the same shared email address, right, which is what we wanted to do. But the messages that are sent from MailChimp are not, because the identifier on MailChimp is the email address. So the MailChimp email addresses will only work for the person that holds the real email address, not the one that has the username. If you want, obviously, kind of both people want to receive separate MailChimp messages, well, then in that case, you can still convince them that they need to set up a different email address for each one of them and subscribe to MailChimp in their separate messages. So we can always do that. Let me try to do it now. So if we go to Minnie's user profile, imagine that she was using the shared email for a while, but she finally got her own personal email address. Well, then you can always uncheck this box and then enter here, the new email address that she got, minniemouse@gmail.com, for example. And then go down here and save. Okay, so now Minnie Mouse have now a general email, and then Mickey Mouse still has the same email. There's no change in here. Okay, let me pause for a second. But I want to show one more thing, is that here when we log out from the system, and now we can sign in, you see now here there's also a slight change in the system on the login screen where, people that were logging in with their email address in the past, they can still do it, enter their email address here. But Minnie Mouse also has the possibility to come in here, and she will log in this way, Minnie Mouse, and then the password that she chose, right, when she reset her password and log in. Okay, so now I'll do a little break and ask Sydney if there are any questions on the chat about the shared email address. I know it's Mickey and Minnie, and the one email address a little.
No, people are saying that there's some delayed things. So just mention that while recording us, and we'll post it on Slack and on YouTube.
Okay, so I hear from, I don't know if you heard from Sydney, but that there's a delay sometimes in the video on the meeting software we're using. So this is the first time we use this software for, this much people. We can definitely share the recording with all the group. Okay, so I think I'm done with the demo of the username and password. There is something else I can show you here is, but I need to log in, or can you log in with your account? Okay. I have another feature that we did this month, and it's about service requests. Here we have a service request for Fabiana, and in this case, let me change the date first. Edit service request. And then let's say that this is for 28th of June. And then save. Now here, we can, it's a request that was set up for volunteers sometime, and we have now the concierge services module that allows to add different providers if we found no volunteer. And something that is new is that in the past demo we did last month, right, we would select a provider that we're suggesting the member, and this is now matched. It was set here on the request. Now, what is new is that we have now the possibility to suggest more than one provider. So here we go back again to commercial providers, and then come to the list of providers and say, well, we're suggesting Helpful Village for technology assistance. We're also suggesting Tech Wizards. And then now, basically, what happens then on the service request detail for providers, here you will see that we have now a different list of providers that can be suggested to the member. So basically what happens that, the member makes a request, because they need help with something. The village can go in and suggest a list of providers that are available, and then invite the member to go on to the service request, details, and then check out the providers themselves. So they would come here, say, well, show me more information about this provider, and then they read here different reviews that there may be for that provider. They read the reviews about the other provider. They get some information, and then here, at the end, the member can come in and confirm what is the provider that he chooses, right? In the past, what we had in the last version is that basically was the office choosing one provider. Now we offer more options to the members where basically the office is suggesting a few providers, and the member compare them and then can confirm the provider they want to use. And with this, I think I'm done with the live demo. Obviously, if there are questions, I'm happy to answer them. And what we can do is, there's a question, I think.
I'm just asking about this commercial provider choice. It looked like you had to choose each one separately. Again, is there a possibility of a select all? So you can, if you have 3 providers, you want to make reference. You don't have to individually choose them.
Yeah, so I'll show you the question in here, right? So for example, if you come here and you go here, general contractor, you have suggest providers. Yeah, so we have now this link that allows to select only one, right? Mm-hmm. And your question is, can we select several of them at the same time, right? You said select all, but you're right. So this is an improvement that this is a good improvement idea. For now, it's a one by one, but I can when I was doing it, I could see, how it's easier for me to have a checkbox here and then say, well, select all of this for a suggestion to the member. So yeah, that's a great idea. I don't know if we have them already. If we have it already on the list of improvements, but if we do not have it, we need to have it there.
As many places as possible, because there's a lot of checking and saving.
Yeah.
And checking and saving you have to do.
Yeah. No, but it's a very good idea. We need multiple selection here so that we're suggesting several providers to the member.
Yeah, we don't want to be accused of bias.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's good. Maybe we can, I don't know what's the mute situation here. Maybe there's other people that have questions. Do you want to unmute people and see how that goes? People are, yeah. Mute everyone else. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there is other questions. Do you have other questions?
Diane asked, does the member reach out to the provider when they confirm?
Good question, Diane. So, yeah, about the workflow. So the member chooses different providers, and let's go back there. And then basically chooses here to confirm one. And when they confirm one, this changes the status. The request has changed from open to matched provider. And then here you see a provider that is now confirmed and the other one that is suggested. So this is telling the village what is the choice of the member, but the system is not contacting the provider. So yes, here the way it's set up now is to the member to contact the commercial provider. So basically we have here the phone number, and also it is a link. So if they click on the provider information, they have phone, website, other additional information. So at this point, yes, it's on the member to make the arrangements. Okay.
I just.
There was another question coming.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking, if it's the member to connect it, yes. Why wouldn't? Yeah, obviously because the member choosing, so it's easier if they connect. Okay, that's good. So maybe now we're gonna go back to the PowerPoint if there are no other questions.
We showed this.
And this we showed both demos. And now Sydney is gonna take over and explain you for the next slides.
So now I'll go over what priorities we have coming up for July that we'll work on and that are planned for the release of July 21st. So our new current priorities are going to be continuing to have the newsletters open instead of downloading, having customizable email templates for member and volunteer application confirmation. So we did this last month, I think, with a customized provider application email confirmation, so we're doing the same thing for a member and a volunteer. We'll have that a volunteer, you have a setting that can send an automatic email from the system when a volunteer's driver's license is set to expire in the next 30 days, their registration, their insurance, things like that. 546, so a couple months ago, we started having asynchronous reports. These were reports with a large amount of data that were running in the background, and then an email was sent to the designated admin of the system, letting them know that the report was done. However, it wasn't always the designated admin that was asking for the report, so now it will be sending an email to the person who originally requested the report, and then it will CC the admin, letting them know that that person requested the report and it's finished. We'll also be finalizing the members directory PDF down, to be able to download that. We were trying to have it done for this month, and we were not able to finish it, so we're going to continue working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the schedule. So the next meeting in regards to Helpful Village will be next Wednesday, June 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. It will be hosted by V2V. It will be a peer-to-peer based meeting. Joanne and I will be there to help organizing it. And then the next release meeting hosted by Helpful Village will be July 17th, and we will be announcing those priorities that we just announced along with some other things. And then we see here the rest of the meetings into July and August. We have the improvement request form, Slack. If you're not on Slack and you'd like to be, or you have another admin that needs to be, go ahead and just shoot me an email with their email address, and I can shoot them a URL that allows them to join. So
yes, absolutely. So this is exactly what Sydney said, and I wanted to go over kind of the dates once more. saying that we had this announcement meeting where we announce everything that is new. We will put on the server everything that is new on Sunday. Then obviously you start using the system, and there is another webinar next week on Wednesday that is a peer-to-peer meeting. So it's a different meeting that is happening, with a V2V, online software that is more about questions from one visit to the other one. You will have the totally fresh new version of the software. So basically everything we demonstrated today with a shared email address, if you have trouble trying it on Monday or Tuesday, next Wednesday at the V2V webinar is a great opportunity to say, well, I tried this, but I still have questions. Can we go over this once again? So basically we have these two different meetings, kind of this announcement, which is usually pretty dense, and we know we go quite fast during this meeting because we do a lot of work during the month, and there is a lot of improvements every month. So we need to go, over all those. And then the other meeting, which would be a little bit easier to follow because we take more time to answer your questions and then, revisit with you the things that were not clear, at the announcement meeting. So with all this, this is what I wanted to say, but I don't know if Sydney, you have other things we have on the chat before we finish the meeting, because if we don't.
Well, I did want to mention, I know that there was some lag during the presentation. I did want to mention that I already have a video showing how to set up usernames for a shared email, as well as just a training doc. So that way you won't have to re-watch this over and over to see how to do it. You can view those. They will be posted on the Google Drive. They will be posted on Slack. So those you can give those to, your admin and your managers and so forth for people who need to learn how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. And then, if there was lag on the screen, obviously, this, as I was saying before, is the first time we use this online meeting software with as much people. We may potentially try a different software next month. We obviously need to figure out what's the best way to have this, online meetings with all you connected. So we work on that too. Okay. With that said, I think it's time to wish you all a great week. Great discovery of the new release on Sunday and beginning of the week, and then Sydney will be there at the webinar next week, while I'll be working at the basement. So she will be there with you, and obviously, we are happy to see you there. Okay, bye everybody.
Thank you.
See you. Thank you.